Have you ever found yourself in this situation? A brilliant idea flashes in your mind. You are filled with determination. You even write down a detailed plan on paper, but then a day, a week, a month goes by, and you still haven't started? Time silently slips away, and suddenly you realize with shock, you're still standing in the same place while your dream is fading further into the distance. This is one of the greatest pains in life. Living comfortably today, but paying the price with regret tomorrow. We often think, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll wait until things are less busy. Or when I have more motivation, then I'll act. But you know what? That perfect moment never comes. Life will always be busy, always full of challenges, and if you keep waiting, you'll end up waiting forever. I have learned a truth. Procrastination is the greatest thief of life. It steals opportunities, steals time, steals confidence, and leaves you only with disappointment and regret. In today's video, I, Jim Rohn, want to walk you through 10 life principles, 10 powerful keys that will break the chains of procrastination. Each principle is a step that helps you climb toward discipline, action, and success. If you patiently listen until the end, I believe you will not only gain more knowledge, but you will also make a new decision for your life. To act today, not tomorrow. Principle 1. The hardest moment is at the beginning. Have you noticed that for most of the important things in life, the moment we hesitate the most is the very first step? Not when we're already doing it, not when we're familiar with it, but right at the moment before we start. I remember the first time I decided to stand in front of an audience to give a speech. The night before, my mind was flooded with questions. Am I good enough? What if they laugh at me? What if I forget everything? Have you ever felt that way? When your mind is filled with reasons to procrastinate? You tell yourself, tomorrow is fine. I need more time to prepare. I need more confidence. But the truth is, the longer you wait, the weaker you become. Inaction also becomes a habit, just like action does. Imagine you're standing in front of a cold lake. You want to jump in and swim, but the longer you hesitate, the colder the water feels. If you just keep staring, you'll never swim. But the moment you jump in, you realize it's not as bad as you thought. That is the power of starting. Successful people are not those who wait for motivation to appear before they act. They understand that motivation comes after action, not before it. A person who starts jogging every morning doesn't begin because they felt excited right away. They start because they know that just by putting on their shoes and stepping out the door, their body will naturally get moving. And gradually, the action itself creates the motivation to keep going. Think of a young entrepreneur. He has a business idea but hesitates because he lacks money, experience, and connections. Year after year, the idea stays on paper. Meanwhile, another person with less money and less experience dares to take one small step, finding the first customer, building the first product, and they move forward. See? The difference is not in the idea, but in the first action. I want you to ask yourself, what have I delayed for too long? It could be starting to exercise, learning a new skill, changing jobs, or simply waking up earlier every morning. What do you know you should be doing but still haven't done? Believe me, starting is the key. You don't need to see the whole road. You just need to see the first step. Just one small step creates momentum, and that momentum will carry you farther than any unfinished plan ever could. Remember this, the hardest moment is at the beginning. But once you start, you will feel the power rise within you. You'll see your belief grow, your confidence spark, and most importantly, you'll feel relief because at last you've taken action. So don't wait any longer. Choose one thing, just one small thing, and start today. Principle 2, one step leads to another. Have you ever stood at the foot of a mountain and looked up at the summit? The sight is overwhelming. The long road, the steep slopes make you discouraged. Before you even take a step, you think, how could I possibly climb all the way up there? And so many people give up right at the start, not because they don't have the strength, but because they look too far ahead instead of focusing on the very first step. Here's the truth. You don't need to climb the entire mountain in one day. You only need to take one step. And once you take one step, you'll realize you can take another. Step by step, those small moves accumulate, and you'll go much farther than you ever imagined. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who decided to lose weight after years of living with unhealthy, sedentary habits. On his first day at the gym, he couldn't even lift the lightest dumbbell. He felt ashamed and wanted to leave. But instead of walking away, he decided to just do one push-up, just one. The next day he came back and did 2, then 3, then 10. After a few months, he could lift heavy weights, his body was stronger, and his spirit was full of energy. What created that change? Not magic, simply one step leading to another. You see, people often make the mistake of thinking too big, too far. When they want to learn a new skill, they look at the entire journey. Hundreds of hours of study, countless lessons, endless difficulties, and then they convince themselves, I can't do it. But if they change perspective, focusing only on learning one lesson today, spending 30 minutes reading one chapter, memorizing one concept, everything suddenly becomes possible. The power of small steps lies in breaking the paralysis of fear. The first step may be clumsy, it may be imperfect, but it gives you something much more important, momentum. Once momentum kicks in, you stop thinking too much about fear. You just focus on keep moving forward. Imagine climbing a staircase. If you stand at the bottom and look all the way to the top floor, it feels overwhelming. But if you only focus on the step right in front of you, you realize taking one step is not that hard. And once you climb one step, you naturally gain the strength to climb the next. Step by step, you'll reach the top, sometimes without even realizing how far you've come. Be honest with yourself. Have you ever postponed a dream just because it seemed too big? Have you ever missed an opportunity simply because you felt you weren't good enough or ready enough? If so, I want you to remember this. You don't need to finish everything today. You only need to do one thing today. And then one thing leads to another. One small action creates a habit. A habit creates change, and change creates an entirely new life. Never underestimate the first step, no matter how small it is. It is the foundation stone for the building you're constructing. It is the seed before the forest grows. So don't sit there worrying about the 100 steps you haven't taken. Focus on the one step you can take right now. And remember, once you've taken one step, the second becomes much easier. That is the power of this principle. One step leads to another. And those small steps, accumulated every day, will take you to places you never thought possible. Principle 3. Success belongs to those who refuse to quit. Do you know what truly separates successful people from those who give up halfway? It's not intelligence. It's not natural talent. It's not even luck. It is persistence, the refusal to quit. I've met many young people who started out with excitement. They bought new notebooks to write their plans. They posted inspiring photos on social media. They told friends about their big goals. But then, after just a few weeks or months, that initial excitement faded away. When difficulties came, they stopped. When results didn't appear as quickly as expected, they lost motivation. And so they quit. You see, most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they give up too soon. I remember speaking with a marathon runner once. He said that at around the 30th kilometer, the body almost collapses. Every muscle screams to stop. That's the wall many runners face. Most quit there. But those who push through a few more kilometers discover hidden strength they never knew they had. And it's that refusal to quit in the hardest moment that carries them to the finish line. Life is the same. There will be times you fail, stumble, get rejected, or get laughed at. There will be days you pour your heart into your work but see no results. In those moments, you will be tempted to stop. But if you persist, if you refuse to quit, you separate yourself from the majority. Remember, successful people are not those who never failed. They are the ones who didn't let failure decide their destiny. Thomas Edison tried thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Walt Disney was rejected many times for lacking imagination. Steve Jobs was once fired from the very company he founded. What did they all have in common? They didn't quit. They persisted, they stood up, and they kept moving forward. I want you to reflect. How many times in your life have you abandoned a goal just because it was harder than you thought? How many times did you stop when you were only a few steps away from success? Success, sometimes, doesn't come from knowing more, but simply from lasting longer than others. While others stop, you keep going. While others quit, you keep moving. And that persistence over time creates a massive difference. There's a truth I always repeat. Talent alone never built anything great. Hard work, consistency, and persistence did. Don't think that successful people never doubted themselves. They did. Don't think they never wanted to stop. They did. But instead of obeying the voice that told them to quit, they chose to keep moving. And that choice shaped their lives. So if today you are standing between two choices, to continue or to stop, remember this: the moment you most want to quit is often the very moment you are closest to success. Ask yourself, what would happen if I didn't quit? If I pushed just one more month, one more week, or even one more day? That could be the turning point. That could be the moment you needed to finally see results. Let this principle sink deep into you. Success doesn't belong to the fastest, the smartest, or the most talented. It belongs to those who refuse to quit. And once you decide, I will not quit, you will become one of the few who truly reach the glory that most people only dare to dream of. Principle 4. Small daily wins are more powerful than one big effort. Be honest. How many times have you made a life-changing plan that only lasted a few days? You signed up for a 3-month gym membership, but quit after 1 week. You promised to study English 3 hours a day, but after 5 days you were exhausted. You launched a business project with all your enthusiasm, but when results didn't come fast enough, you gave up. This is the mistake so many people make. They believe success comes from one huge push, one explosive effort, one dramatic breakthrough. But the truth is the opposite. Success doesn't come from a grand explosion. It comes from small wins repeated daily. Think of a brick. If you lay down just one, nobody sees a wall. But if you patiently place brick after brick, day after day, eventually you'll have a strong wall, one that can withstand any storm. Life is the same. Each small action, each daily win is like a brick placed into the foundation of your future. I once had a student ask me, "Mr. Jim, how can I become a great speaker like you?" I smiled and said, "There is no secret. I just practiced every day. One day I read one more page. One day I wrote one more paragraph. One day I spoke in front of a small group. And over the years, those small wins turned me into the person you see today." You see, small wins create big results. A person who exercises for 10 minutes a day will be far healthier than someone who works out intensely for 3 hours and then quits for a month. A person who saves just $1 a day after 10 years will have a solid amount, while the person who only dreams of winning the lottery remains stuck with nothing. The secret is accumulation. Small wins may seem tiny, but over time, they add up to massive power. Remember this saying: success is not about intensity, it's about consistency. Imagine you're learning to play the guitar. On the first day, your fingers hurt. On the second day, the sound is terrible. But if you keep practicing 15 minutes a day, you'll notice progress after a month. After 6 months, you can play full songs. After a year, you can perform in front of others. That is the power of small daily wins. On the other hand, people who rely on one big effort usually give up. They burn themselves out in a short burst, expecting instant results. When results don't appear, they lose hope. Meanwhile, the quiet, consistent person moves much farther ahead. So I want you to pause and ask yourself, what is your small win today? Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's reading 5 pages of a book. Maybe it's choosing a healthy meal instead of fast food. Don't underestimate those small actions. They are the golden bricks that build the future you desire. And the beauty is this: each small win creates a sense of achievement, and that feeling becomes motivation to keep going. Just like finishing a short workout gives you the energy to do a little more. It's a positive cycle. Win motivation more wins. Etch this into your heart. Small daily wins are more powerful than one big effort. You don't need to change the world in one day. You just need to win today. And if you repeat that long enough, one day you'll wake up, look back, and realize you have transformed your entire life. Principle 5. Your mind will try to stop you. Don't listen to it. Have you noticed that our biggest enemy is sometimes not circumstances, not other people, but the voice inside our own head? Every time you want to change, to start a new journey, to take action and move forward, your mind immediately whispers, "You're not ready. You're going to fail. Just wait until tomorrow." That is not the truth. That is your brain's deception, a mechanism designed to protect you from discomfort, from risk, from the unfamiliar. The brain loves comfort. It wants you to stay in your safe zone. But you know this: the comfort zone is where growth never happens. I remember a time I had to give a speech to an audience 10 times larger than usual. The night before, my mind became a traitor. It kept throwing excuses at me. What if you forget your words? What if they don't like you? Better to decline the invitation. I was on the verge of giving up a huge opportunity just because I listened to fear's voice. But I didn't. I chose to show up. I trembled at first, but as minutes passed, I realized I was stronger than I thought. And that turned out to be one of the best speeches of my life. Do you see? Fear exists only in the mind, not in reality. Once you act, fear weakens instantly, just like darkness disappears when you turn on the light. The danger is, most people believe those whispers are true. They think, I'm really not good enough. I really don't have time. I really can't do this. And so, they stop before they even start. The result? They live their whole lives trapped in limitations created by their own minds. Understand this. Your mind is not always your ally. It can be your enemy if you let it control you. Successful people are not those who never hear that voice. They hear it too, but they don't obey it. A young entrepreneur once told me, Jim, I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of losing money. I'm afraid people will laugh at me. Hochi, I replied, failure isn't scary. What's scary is letting fear stop you from starting. Because if you don't start, you're guaranteed to fail. But if you dare to start, at least you have a chance. You must remember, action creates evidence for you to believe in yourself. If you want your brain to believe, I can do this, you must prove it with action. Even the smallest action counts. Sending the first email, doing the first workout, waking up early on the first day. Each act is training your brain to trust your power. So next time your mind whispers, you can't, answer it with action. If it says, you're too tired to exercise, take a 5-minute walk. If it says, you're not good at English, learn 10 new words right now. If it says, you're not ready to start a business, write down one idea today. Don't wait until you feel ready, because the truth is, you will never feel ready. Readiness comes only after action. Engrave this in your heart. Your mind will try to stop you. Don't listen to it. The difference between success and failure is not about who has less fear, but about who acts despite fear. From now on, treat your mind like a strict advisor. It can give warnings, but the final decision is yours. You are the master, not it. Principle 6. Keep showing up every day. Success never comes from showing up once. It comes from showing up consistently, day after day, regardless of circumstances. So many people begin with burning passion. They feel excited when setting a new goal, launching a project, stepping into the gym, or signing up for a course. But after just a few weeks or months, that fire dies down, they disappear, they stop showing up, and that is why they never reach the finish line. The difference between successful people and the majority is not in intelligence or luck, but in persistence. Successful people understand one thing. Every day you show up, you are laying another brick in the foundation of your future. You may not see results right away, but the foundation is being built, stronger each time you stay consistent. I remember a young man who wanted to become a speaker. On his first day, he stood trembling in front of 10 people, stammering and losing control. Others would have quit after that failure, but he chose to keep showing up. The next week, he spoke to 12 people, still awkward, but a little better. A month later, he faced 30 people. A year later, he confidently addressed hundreds. And a few years later, he became a well-known speaker. His secret wasn't natural talent. It was simply showing up again and again. There will be days when you see no progress. Workouts where your body doesn't change. Days of hard work when nobody notices. Nights of study where nothing seems to stick. Those are the moments when most people quit. They think their effort is wasted. But you must remember, every small effort is accumulating. Success is like a glass of water. Each small action is one drop. At first, the glass seems empty. But one day, a single drop will cause it to overflow. And that moment of breakthrough doesn't come from the last drop. It comes from every drop before it. Don't let impatience defeat you. Don't think that lack of immediate results means you're on the wrong path. Don't let comparison with others make you give up. And don't let temporary emotions decide your actions. Successful people don't act based on feelings. They show up even when they don't feel like it. They understand emotions are temporary, but discipline creates lasting results. If today you feel like quitting because you don't see results, remember, the moment you most want to quit may also be the moment you're closest to success. Success doesn't go to the smartest or the fastest. It goes to the one who keeps showing up day after day without stopping. So whatever you're pursuing, health, career, finances, or a dream, don't stop just because you don't see the fruits yet. Keep showing up Keep laying bricks, keep adding drops of water. And one day, you'll realize the wall is built, the glass is full, and your entire life has changed, all because you didn't quit. Principle 7. Every excuse delays your success. There is a silent enemy that has killed more dreams than any real failure. And that enemy is excuses. Every time you say, I don't have time, I'm too tired, I'm not ready yet, you are placing another chain on your own feet. These chains may be invisible, but they are strong enough to keep you stuck in place, watching life pass by, watching others move forward while you remain at the starting line. I've met countless people with big dreams. Their eyes light up when they talk about what they want to achieve. But just minutes later, they start listing reasons. Times are too hard. I need to prepare more. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. And as days and years go by, those dreams are buried under the excuses they created. They didn't fail because of lack of ability. They failed because they let excuses win over action. Think about it. How many times have you convinced yourself that tomorrow you'll start? How many times have you set an alarm to wake up early, but then hit snooze? How many times have you said you'd exercise, learn a skill, or write a business plan, but instead ended up scrolling on your phone? Excuses always sound reasonable, but what are the results? Nothing changes. Because excuses never move you forward. They only keep you stuck. 1 year from now, you won't even remember how busy or tired you were today. But you will clearly see the consequence of not taking action. You'll still be in the same place, with the same job, the same habits, and the same unfulfilled dreams. Meanwhile, those who refuse to obey their excuses will have moved miles ahead. I once had a friend who wanted to start a business. He had a great idea, but every time I asked him, he said, "It's not the right time. I need more capital, more experience, more preparation." Year after year, I kept hearing the same refrain. And one day he sighed and said, "If I had started 5 years ago, everything would be different." I realized that his excuses had stolen 5 precious years of his life. You need to understand, excuses are time thieves. Every time you make one, you lose a day. Those lost days add up to months, years, and eventually an entire wasted life. That is the true cost of excuses, endless delay. So what's the solution? It's simple. Act even when excuses appear. When your brain whispers, "I'm too tired," get up and do at least one small thing. When it says, "It's not the right time," answer by starting immediately, even if it's just a tiny step. When it says you're not good enough, prove it wrong through action. Remember, even the smallest action is powerful enough to break the chains of excuses. Don't fool yourself into waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions never come. Life will always give you reasons to delay, and if you're not firm, you'll delay forever. Success belongs to those who recognize excuses and refuse to be controlled by them. Ask yourself right now, what excuses am I making to avoid taking action? And what price will I pay if I keep listening to them? If you're brave enough to answer honestly, you'll see the cost is too high. Not just lost opportunities, but your very future. From today, make this commitment. No excuse has the right to control you anymore. If you're tired, do one small thing. If you're busy, give it 5 minutes. If you're afraid, walk forward in fear. But don't stop. Every action, no matter how small, is a victory over yourself. And those victories will carry you to success, where no excuse can hold you back. Principle 8. Results don't come from wishing, they come from doing. There's a simple truth most people don't want to face. Wishing doesn't create results, only action does. Yet many people spend their whole lives inside dreams and hopes. They say, "I want a healthy body," but they never go to the gym. They say, "I want to succeed in business," but they never take concrete steps. They say, "I want financial freedom," but each day they repeat the same old habits. And as the years pass, they remain stuck, clinging to dreams that never become reality. Wishing is easy. Wishing requires no effort. Anyone can sit in a chair and imagine a better life. But wishing doesn't change anything. You can't get fit just by thinking about working out. You can't get rich just by imagining money in your bank account. You can't become an expert by dreaming you'll be skilled one day. Only action, even if it's small, hard, or imperfect, creates change. I remember a young man once came to me and said, "Mr. Jim, I've wished for a better life for years, but nothing has changed. Why?" I looked him in the eye and said, "Because wishing doesn't change your life. Only action does." Quote, he was stunned. Because deep down, he already knew this truth but hadn't admitted it. He spent years waiting for inspiration, waiting for the perfect moment, but he never acted, not even for a single day. And that waiting stole his opportunities. How many times in your life have you waited for someday? Someday you'll start learning a language. Someday you'll start saving money. Someday you'll chase your dream. But someday never comes. The only day you have is today. Only today's actions build tomorrow. And if you keep sitting there wishing, next year you'll be in the same place with the same unfulfilled dream. Results come from doing, not from thinking. A person may spend hours imagining their ideal body, but only the one who gets up early to exercise will have it. A person may read dozens of business books, but only the one who dares to open a small shop, call customers, and handle early failures will become an entrepreneur. You must remember, action creates momentum, while wishing creates illusions. The more you act, the more progress you see. And progress builds belief, giving you strength to keep going. The more you just wish, the more disappointed you become, because nothing changes, no matter how many times you've dreamed about it. From today, stop and ask yourself, am I truly acting on my dreams, or am I just sitting here wishing? This question may hurt, but it's necessary, because only when you're honest with yourself can you begin to change. Results don't care how many times you wished, dreamed, or wrote down plans. Results only come to those who roll up their sleeves and start even with the smallest step. Remember, one real step forward is worth more than 100 imaginary steps in your mind. So don't wait another day. Don't waste another evening dreaming without doing. If you want change, start today. Start writing, start studying, start exercising, start making calls, start acting. Let your actions replace your wishes. Let what you do prove your dreams. Because in the end, life doesn't reward those who wish the most. It rewards those who do the most. Principle 9. Discipline is the shortcut. All of us have wished for an easier, shorter path to success. We look for secrets, magic formulas, quick hacks that promise fast results without much sacrifice. Some people wait for a golden opportunity. Some hope luck will knock on their door. Some buy course after course, believing that if they just learn the secret, their lives will transform. But here's the harsh truth. There is no secret. There is no shortcut except discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what you know needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It is the strength to keep going when inspiration is gone, when your body is tired, when your mind just wants to quit. Discipline turns promises into action, goals into reality, and dreams into results. That's why discipline is the only real shortcut, because it gets you to the finish line faster than anything else. I remember a young man once asked me, "Mr. Jim, how can I succeed faster? Is there a way to shorten the path?" I answered directly, "Yes, discipline." If you master discipline, you'll move ahead of everyone else still wandering, looking for shortcuts. Because while they are busy trying to avoid the hard path, you'll already be working every day, and that consistency will move you forward. Discipline levels the playing field. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need the best starting point. You don't need natural talent. But if you have discipline, if you show up every day, if you work even when you don't feel like it, if you finish what you promised yourself, you will surpass those who are smarter but inconsistent, more talented but lazy. Discipline is the secret weapon most people overlook. It's not flashy or glamorous, but it's more powerful than anything else. Think of someone who wants good health. He doesn't need complicated workouts, expensive equipment, or special tricks. He only needs discipline to train every day. Or someone who wants financial success. He doesn't need a billion-dollar deal. He only needs discipline to save and invest consistently year after year. No matter the field, learning, career, relationships, discipline is always the key. Do you know why most people don't achieve what they want? It's not because they don't know what to do. They do. Everyone knows. To be healthy, you must exercise and eat well. Everyone knows. To succeed, you must learn, work hard, and grow. The gap between knowing and doing has only one bridge, and that bridge is discipline. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. You don't need to start with something big. Begin small, wake up on time, read 10 pages a day, finish one task you promised yourself. Every time you keep your word to yourself, your discipline grows a little stronger. Over time, it becomes part of who you are. You no longer need to force yourself to be disciplined because it has become your nature. Failures look for shortcuts to avoid discipline. Successful people understand that discipline is the shortcut. That is the difference. If you embrace discipline, you save yourself years of disappointment, procrastination, and wasted time. If you reject discipline, you'll pay with a lifetime of unfulfilled potential. So don't ask, is there an easier way? Ask, how can I strengthen my discipline? Don't chase shortcuts that don't exist. The only path that takes you to success the fastest is the path of discipline, the path most avoid, but the few who take it reach the finish line. Etch this in your heart. Discipline is the shortcut. If you have discipline, you don't need luck. If you have discipline, you don't need extraordinary talent. If you have discipline, you already own the only shortcut to success. And the real question isn't, can I succeed? It's, do I have enough discipline to see it through? Principle 10. Your future is built one day at a time. There's a mistake most people make. They think the future is created by one big moment. They believe that one day they'll get a golden opportunity. One day, luck will smile on them. One day, everything will change. And while they wait for that one day, time silently passes. Today gets wasted. And then, years later, they look up and realize the future they were waiting for never arrived. The truth is very different. The future is not built in the future. It is built today. Every day you live, every action you choose, every decision you make, all of them are weaving the fabric of your life. If you procrastinate today, tomorrow you inherit procrastination. If you act today, tomorrow you inherit strength from that action. I once knew a man who always said, when I have more time, I'll study again. When my kids are older, I'll start a business. When things settle down, I'll take care of my health. But that when never came. Years passed. His kids grew up, his health declined, his opportunities slipped away. And he realized the cruel truth. By not using today, he had lost his future. On the other hand, I once met a young man with no special talent or resources, but he understood one thing. If he wanted a different future, he had to start today. Day one, he read one page of a book. Day two, he wrote down one small idea. Day three, he worked an extra hour after his job. No one noticed him. No one cheered him on. There were no instant results. But he kept going day after day. And years later, when he looked back, he had completely changed with knowledge, experience, and a career he once thought was out of reach. You see, life doesn't change because of one giant leap. It changes because of small steps repeated daily, like bricks laid one by one until they form a strong wall, like drops of water falling until they become a flowing river. Each day is a brick. Each day is a drop. Each day is an opportunity to build the future you long for. The problem is, most people underestimate the power of one day. They think skipping today won't matter, but that just today excuse repeated enough times becomes an entire wasted life. One lazy day turns into a week of procrastination. A week turns into a year of stagnation, and eventually a lifetime of regret. I want you to remember this. Your future is the sum of all the todays you've lived. If you don't control today, you'll never control tomorrow. So don't ask, where will I be in 5 years? Ask, what am I doing today to move closer to where I want to be? Don't lull yourself with the promise of someday. Decide that today will be used wisely, even if it's just one small step, one simple act. If repeated long enough, it has the power to transform everything. The future is not some distant dream. It's being built right now, through your choices. Do you choose action or procrastination? Do you choose discipline or comfort? Do you choose to move forward or stay still? Those choices repeated daily will become your future. And in the end, you'll realize life doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who understand that each day is an opportunity and seize it. Remember this, your future is built one day at a time. Day by day, choice by choice, action by action, you are writing the story of your life. And the only question is, will you let today slip away in vain, or will you use it to build a future you're proud of? We have just gone through 10 powerful life principles. The keys that will help you break free from procrastination and start building a new life. 1, the hardest part is starting. The beginning is always the toughest. But once you start, strength appears. 2, one step leads to another. Just take one small step and the next one becomes easier. San, success belongs to those who refuse to quit. True success comes to the persistent, the ones who never give up. 4. Small daily wins are more powerful than one big effort. Daily consistency creates far greater results than one explosive push. 5. Your mind will try to stop you, don't listen to it. Fear lives in your mind, but you can choose not to obey it. 6. Keep showing up. Success doesn't come from one appearance, but from showing up every single day. 7. Every excuse delays your success. Excuses are invisible chains that hold you back from your future. 8. Results don't come from wishing, they come from doing. Action, not dreams, creates real change. 9. Discipline is the shortcut. Discipline turns effort into results faster than anything else. 10. Your future is built one day at a time. Each day, each choice, each action is shaping your tomorrow. Take a moment to reflect. Which of these 10 principles speaks to you the most? Which one do you know you must apply immediately to change your life? Don't just listen and move on. Choose one principle, write it down, and act on it today. Because your life won't change just because you dream. It won't change because of how many videos you watch or how many books you read. Your life changes only when you decide to start. And the day to start is not tomorrow, not someday, but today. If you found these principles valuable, please like this video, subscribe to Jim Rohn Treasures, and share it with your friends. Because sometimes just one principle may be enough to transform an entire life. And always remember, if you can master one day, you can master your whole life. So start today. Start with one small action and keep moving forward. Success is not waiting somewhere far away. It is already here in the choices you make each day.